We Unitarian Universalists, for those of you who may be with us for the first time, are a non-creedal, religiously liberal faith tradition. We hold in our worship and in our faith formation that each individual and each community of faith explore a wide and varied set of beliefs and ideas that encourage us to live life as a spiritual journey, deepening our connections to compassion, justice, and understanding of eternal truths. We seek the wisdom of the ages in all the places and corners it might be found, the wisdom of the world's religions, in the arts, words, music, and fine arts, in the quest for justice, in the everyday and the ordinary, and most of all, in being a community of spiritual journey seekers. Tonight, on this particular Christmas Eve, after a few years of pandemic life, and as we slowly emerge into this new old world, we join in hearing the familiar and singing some of the more familiar, traditional to us, Christmas Eve songs and stories. Welcome to this Christmas Eve, and may peace be with you. Instead of our time. Love is born, wrote Michael Lunick. With a dark and troubled face, when hope is dead, and in the most unlikely place, Love is born. Love is always born. As we call ourselves in this community of spirit into worship, let us open our hearts, minds, and spirits to the possibility of something new being birthed within us, among us, between us, and beyond us. Come, let us worship. Beginning with our chalice and our final Advent candle. Anne Morrissey, would you please come forward to read our words for these illuminations?
It's my pleasure to invite my friend Andrew to light the chalice. Please come. It's so delicate, the light, and there is so little of it. The dark, that's huge. Just delicate needles to light in an endless night. And it has such a long way to go through such desolate space.
I was able to turn mine off.
So let's be gentle with it. Cherish the light. So it will come again in the morning, we hope. We lit our chalice, a symbol of our Unitarian Universalist tradition. And now I will light the Christmas candle, the Christ candle, in the Advent wreath. May each light shine in the spirit of hope, joy, faith, and peace that welcome the growing new life and light within, among, between, and beyond. We are lit.
All the bells, sweet silver bells, all seem to say, rock cares away. Christmas is here, bringing good cheer. Too young to know, old and old. Ding dong, God is their song. Ding time away, don't care away. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere in the air. Oh, how they run, praising the sun, starting, telling it. Daily we sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Merry, merry, Christmas. Merry, merry Christmas. Oh, mountains and dawn, every joyful room, sing every home, marching bells, sing to the bell, all seem to say, throw cares away. Christmas from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they sound, changing and telling the tale. Giving, loving, sing songs of cheer. Christmas is here. Ordinary, but ordinary. Christmas, oh, how they sang, hallelujah. They come to every home. Hark, round the bell, sweet sound of bell. All seem to say, come cares away. Hallelujah, hallelujah, cheer. They love, they love, roll, happy roll,
That beautiful carol comes from a Ukrainian folk song called Skredik. Is that how you say it, Olga?
I don't know how.
Okay, Shredrik. And it was composed into what we hear now, in part by a Ukrainian musician named Mykola Dmitrovich Leontovich. And he was murdered in 1921 by the Russians in order to stop the Ukrainian culture. It was a time not unlike today in the Ukraine 100 years ago. But he brought a choir to this country to sing that song and to other Western countries to gain support for the Ukrainians in their attempts to hold on to their country and their culture and their language 100 years ago, not unlike what's just happened in this past week. So it sounds familiar. We hear it today in solidarity with those Ukrainians who are literally under siege again as they fight for their right to be independent and sovereign over their land, their language, their culture, and their heritage. Thank you, choir, and thank you, Olga, for bringing that to us. We enter into the lessons and carols portion of our service this evening, and we begin with the lighting of the first candle.
Isaiah 9:2-6. The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Those who lived in a land of deep darkness, on them light has shined. For a child has been born for us, a son given to us. Authority rests upon his shoulders, and he is named Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace.
Rise in spirit, body as you are able, and let us join together in our first carol, number 231, Angels We Have Heard on High.
Is this on? Yeah. O Holy Darkness, Loving Moon by John Aldrich Clanton. O Holy Darkness, Loving Moon, who nurtures and creates, sustain us through the longest night with dreams of open days. We move inside to mystery that in our center dwells, where streams of richest beauty flow from sacred living wells. Creative darkness, closest friend, you whisper in the night, you calm our fears as unknown paths surprise us with new sight. We marvel at your bounty, your gifts so full and free, unfolding as you waken us to new reality. O holy night of deepest bliss, we celebrate your power. Infuse us with your energy that brings our seeds to flower. The voice out of the darkness excites our warmest zeal to bring together dark and light, true holiness reveal. Oh, come to us, Sophia. Your image black and fair stirs us to end injustice and the wounds of earth repair. The treasures of your darkness and riches of your grace inspire us to fulfill our call, our sacredness embrace.
Please rise in spirit and body as you are able, and let us join together in singing Away in the Manger. And it's printed on the back of your order of service and in the chat for those on Zoom.
The reading is from Luke, chapter 2, the birth of Jesus. In those days, a decree went out from Emperor Augustus that all the world should be registered. This was the first registration and was taken within Quirinius's, who was a governor of Syria. All went to their own towns to be registered. Joseph also went from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to the city of David called Bethlehem, because he was descended from the house and family of David. He went to be registered with Mary, to whom he was engaged and who was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for her to deliver her child. And she gave birth to her firstborn son and wrapped him in bands of cloth and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn. In that region, there was shepherds living in the fields, keeping watch over their flock by night. Then an angel of the Lord stood before them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid, for see, I am bringing you good news of great joy for all the people. To you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, who is the Messiah, the Lord. This will be a sign for you. You will find a child wrapped in bands of cloth and lying in a manger."
In a moment, I'm going to invite you to rise in spirit and stand again, if you wish, as we sing our next carol. But our next carol, I just want to note, from the Whalen Museum's website, was written by the Reverend Edmund Hamilton Sears, who served as the Unitarian minister of the First Parish in Whalen for 18 years. And then he went on to serve in Weston, Massachusetts. He wrote this carol as this country was approaching the Civil War. He was an ardent abolitionist. And this, you will hear in this some echoes of that. And so may we sing it on this, all these years later, we still hold those values, and the tune and song still have meaning. It Came Upon a Midnight Clear, number 244 in your hymnal.
Thank you.
Remembering That It Happened Once by Wendell Berry. Remembering that it happened once, we cannot turn away the thought as we go out cold to our barns toward the long night's end, that we ourselves are living in the world it happened in when it first happened. That we ourselves, opening a stall, a latch thrown open countless times before, might find them breathing there, foreknown, the child bedded in straw, the mother kneeling over him, the husband standing in belief he scarcely can believe, in light that lights them from no source we see, an April morning's light. The air around them joyful as a choir, we stand with one hand on the door, looking into another world that is this world. The pale daylight coming just as before, our chores to do, the cattle all awake, our own white frozen breath hanging in front of us. And we are here, as we have never been before, sighted as not before, our place holy, although we knew it not.
And please rise again, in spirit always, in body as you are able, for carol number 241, In the Bleak Midwinter. This may be a dog and minister homily this evening. The theologian, civil rights leader, teacher of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., named Howard Thurman, wrote about the meaning of this celebrated birth of the baby Jesus and said this: "Look well to the growing edge. All around us worlds are dying and new worlds are being born. The fruit ripens on the tree, The roots are silently at work in the darkness of the earth against a time when there shall be new leaves, fresh blossoms, green fruit. Such is the growing edge. It is the extra breath from the exhausted lung, the one more thing to try when all else has failed, the upward reach of life when weariness closes in upon endeavor. This is the basis of hope in moments of despair, the incentive to carry on when times are out of joint and people have lost their reason, the source of confidence when worlds crash and dreams whiten into ash, the birth of the child, life's most dramatic answer to death. This is the growing edge incarnate. Look well to the growing edge. We here, male, female, non-binary, are mothers of the birthing of the holy in our own lives and in this world today. We are also the shepherds called upon to know stillness so that we can birth in a manner that hears its own deep call, always ready to act, to stand firm, to speak candidly with love, to fight with integrity when we must, to deepen our knowledge of truth against meanness and greediness and self-serving power that always destroy. There is a loss that comes when something new is born, and we can mourn that so that there is room for the new. There is something always to be let go when we birth something new. And it is our growing edges, our capacity to grow in our work and understanding of justice and compassion and the ineffable mystery. We birth new life when we play, when we smile, when we engage the world with joy and deepen the fullness of that joy and its birth in the world. I think of the stories that I've encountered in my ministry where hope and love and justice and compassion have been birthed. And I share just one or two of them this evening. There was the time at the community lunch offered once a week. Every church in this town offered one day a week of doing the community lunch. It came out of a multi-church and faith community effort to support the local shelter for those who were unhoused, because the community had a great number of people who were without housing for a variety of reasons. So it was on a Friday before Christmas, serving lunch in the church where I was ministering, where someone came in and asked to speak to the pastor. He was dressed casually and could have been one of our regulars. I didn't know his name, but his face was familiar. I was uncertain too because I'd been coming to the breakfast for a while, but I wasn't always able to be there due to my schedule. And I was a little bit embarrassed about not recognizing this person, but I knew he was coming to ask for something, and I figured it was money, and I was getting ready to send him over to the pastor at the United Methodist Church, because he was the one who kept the funds to give out. Instead, this gentleman walked up to me and said, "Excuse me, would it be okay, Pastor, if I handed out money to the folks who came to lunch today?" "Excuse me," I said as my jaw dropped to the floor. "Who walks around asking to give out money?" I suspiciously wondered. "Who walks around asking to hand out money 3 days before Christmas?" My mistrustfulness and suspicion are reminders that having no room at the inn isn't just how we physically welcome and make a place for one another, but also how we open or close our hearts and minds to different experiences of love made visible. I asked him why he wanted to hand out this money and why he wanted to do it here. And he said, "Because I have been a client of the local shelter recently. They helped me get into a recovery program, and that is working for me. I know it doesn't work for everyone, but it's working for me. And then they helped me find a job, and I know that a lot of people here don't have work. And I'm really proud of being able to work and earn money. And then they helped me get a home, and I'm able to keep it. I know what it's like to be in need. I know what it's like to be without hope, especially at this time of year. And I know how proud I am to be able to come here and do this today." There was no arguing with that. And my mistrustfulness slowly, I would like to say it instantly melted, but this is not a miracle story. It slowly melted. Maybe I held on to a little bit of it. And I said, "Well, if you will assure me that you will give equally to everyone who comes in the door, go ahead." And so he did. He did indeed hand out equal amounts, $20 bills, to everyone. He did this with quiet dignity. There was no need for fanfare. He wasn't announcing, he wasn't waving the $20 bills. He sat down with a cup of coffee and waited for new folks to come once he'd given out the $20 bills to everyone who was there. Of course, he knew a lot of the folks. Some of them knew him. At one table, there was a parent with 2 children, and he unfolded 3 bills to the parent, one for each person in the family. Toward the end of lunch, someone else came up to me, and indeed, they were seeking funds for a particular medication. And just as I was about to open my mouth and began to say, "Pastor Rennie over at United Methodist," this other gentleman came toward us, his spirit of generosity just beaming off of him. He must have read my body language. "Oh, the minister is sending them elsewhere." So I stopped mid-sentence to the person who'd asked for the medicine money and said, "I think your angel has just arrived." And indeed, this gentleman peeled off another $20 bill and then asked what this person needed. And so he peeled off two $20 bills. May our hearts continue to open to the miraculous presence, to the birth of human dignity, generosity, gratitude, and hope when it is alive in our world, when it shows up around us unexpectedly, when our own hearts burst open just a little bit more in faith and trust and honoring the inherent worth and dignity of those around us who other days we might never notice. May we grow in our own generosity that upholds and deepens human dignity and shows us the face of the holy as it is born in our midst. Let us join together in a moment of prayer. Spirit of life and love, we know you by many names, or perhaps no name at all. Yet together we know this is a holy night. We come from many different traditions, or perhaps no tradition at all. We have celebrated decades of Christmases, or this may be our first or second time at a Christmas Eve service. And yet together we know this is a holy night. It is a holy night because we are here together, joined in our common humanity, listening to the words of centuries-old stories and the familiar carols, recognizing that these are our stories too. We have been the frightened young couple whose lives are about to change forever through no intention of their own. We have known what it is like not to fit in, to be excluded, to be told there is no room for us at the inn. We too have been shepherds, stunned into silence by the awe of nature, fearful of what we are being asked to do next. We are the wayfarers on a journey that has an ending we do not know. We also know the promise of looking into the eyes of a newborn child. We recognize the divine within new life. Emmanuel, God is with us. We have known the excitement and adventure of a shared new journey. We all know we cannot make it through this life alone. We pray that we too will have visits from wise ones, angels who tell us not to be afraid, and those who bring us light in the darkest days to show us the way. Joy to the world, joy to the earth, peace on earth, goodwill to all, silent night, holy night, may all be calm and bright. We know together it is indeed a holy night, and we are blessed to share it together. Amen. The offering this evening is taken for the minister's discretionary fund. A minister's discretionary fund is money that is used to meet the needs of the people within the congregation or in the local community for food, for shelter, for medical needs, for utilities, and it is a way for people to receive what they may need without having to be public in their asking. We hope that your offering this evening is graciously given. It will be very graciously received, not only now in this evening, but by those who will have need of it in the coming months. Yeah, we'll see how this goes.
Ding dong merrily on high, in heaven the bells are ringing. Ding dong merrily the sky is ringing with angels singing. Hosanna in excelsis, in so below below. Let steeple bells be swung and I-O, by priest and people sung in. Gloria, Hosanna in excelsis. Pray you dutifully prime your mountain childly ringers. May you beautifully rhyme your eventime song singers. Gloria, Hosanna in excelsis. Gloria, Hosanna in excelsis.
And we continue with our candles.
Good evening. The Queens came late. The Queens came late, but the Queens were there, with gifts in their hands and crowns in their hair. They'd come, these three, like kings from afar, following, yes, that guiding star. They'd left their ladles, linens, and looms, their children playing in nursery rooms, and told their sitters, take charge, for this is a marvelous sight we must not miss. The Queens came late, but not too late, to see the animals small and great, feathered and furred, domestic and wild, gathered to gaze at a mother and child. And rather than frankincense and myrrh, and gold for the babe, they brought for her, who held him, a homespun gown of blue, and chicken soup with noodles too, and a lingering, lasting cradle song. The queens came late and stayed not long, for their thoughts already were straining far past manger and mother and guiding star, and child aglow as a morning sun, toward home and children and chores undone.
And I will invite you again to rise in spirit, body, as you are able, for another carol also written during the Civil War by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, another Unitarian, when his son went off to fight against his father's wishes. And he wrote this poem, and it has been set to a song, sung many, many Christmases. Number 240, I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day.
Our reading is from Luke. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace among those whom he favored. When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, Let us go now to Bethlehem and see this thing that has taken place, which the Lord has made known to us. So they went with haste and found Mary and Joseph and the child lying in the manger. When they saw this, they made known what had been told them about the child. And all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds told them. But Mary treasured all these words and pondered them in her heart. The shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all they had heard and seen, as it had been told them.
Once again, rise in spirit, body as you wish, and let us sing with joy, Joy to the World, number 245. Let's make joyful noise.
An Arab shepherd is searching for his goat on Mount Zion by Yehuda Amichai. This poem refers to something the author calls Haggadah machine. Pronounced Haggadah, Hag rhymes with God. Haggadah is a folk song often sung at the end of the Passover Seder. It is about a baby goat, a kid, who gets eaten by a dog, and then the dog gets bitten by a cat. The cat has a catastrophe, and it goes on and on. Each next animal with a catastrophe. This area of our world is where the Arabs and Jews are often in deadly conflict. They have been in conflict over and over for thousands of years. It is also considered the birthplace of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and I'm going to add Baha'i. An Arab shepherd is searching for his goat on Mount Zion, and on the opposite hill, I am searching for my little boy. An Arab shepherd and a Jewish father, both in their temporary failure, our two voices met above the Sultan's pool in the valley between us. Neither of us wants the boy or the goat to get caught in the wheels of the Haggadah machine. Afterwards, we found them amongst the bushes, and our voices came back inside us, laughing and crying. Searching for a goat or a child has always been the beginning of a new religion in these mountains.
And once again, you are welcome to rise in body, and let's rise in spirit and sing "Let There Be Peace on Earth." The words are printed on the order of service here and in the chat online.
This is called Written on Christmas Eve, 1513, by Brother Giovanni to a friend, a dear friend. I salute you. I am your friend, and my love for you goes deep. There is nothing I can give you which you do not have. But there is much, very much, that while I cannot give it, you can take. No heaven can come to us unless our hearts find rest in it today. Take heaven. No peace lies in the future which is not hidden in this present little instant. Take peace. The gloom of the world is but a shadow. Behind it, yet within our reach, is joy. There is radiance and glory in darkness, could we but see it. And to see, we have only to look. I beseech you, look. Life is so generous a giver, but we, judging its gifts by their covering, we cast them away as ugly or heavy or hard. Remove the covering, and you will find beneath it a living splendor, woven of love by wisdom with power. Everything we call a trial, a sorrow, or a duty, believe me, that angel's hand is there. The gift is there, and the wonder of an overshadowing presence too. Your joys, be not content with them as joys. They too conceal diviner gifts. Life is so full of meaning and purpose, so full of beauty beneath its covering, that you will find earth but cloaks your heaven. Courage then to claim it, that is all. But courage you have, and the knowledge that we are pilgrims together wending through unknown country home. And so, at this time, I greet you, not quite as the world sends greetings, but with a profound esteem and with the prayer that for you, now and forever, the day breaks and the shadows flee away.
And now we pass the light and light our candles for our final carol, Silent Night. May we do so knowing that each of us carries the light that bursts new light within us, among us, between us, and beyond us. Those of you, we light this from our chalice, and our greeters will go around to each pew and pass the light. To those of you at home on Zoom, I virtually pass this light from our chalice, and may you each light your own candles and know that you are with us and we are with you. Please rise in spirit, body as you are able. The words are printed on your order of service, and they'll be in the chat.
Great and Jesus,
whatever is birthed in us tonight, in the coming days and months and years, Howard Thurman reminds us that when the work of Christmas is this, when the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flock, the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among brothers, to make music in the heart. We do this within, among, between, and beyond. Go in peace and joy to the world. Please blow your candle.